Hi everyone, I'm using the Lightseers Tarot for our reading today. I'll choose 3 cards, read the base of the pack, and I'll also choose 3 from the Destiny pack as well. Such a huge day today. We have the Cardinal Cross from Neptune, Cancer, Pluto, and the South Node and the North Node. The North Node just moving into Aries, the South Node just moving into Libra, so this can bring some tension today. Also, we have got Venus going into retrograde today in the heart of Leo, conjunct with Mars. And then we have Chiron also going retrograde in Aries today. So Aries just moving into and us going through this initiation with the North Nodes and the South Node. So moving, the North Node moving into Aries. So Chiron starting retrograde there. Aries is the head, it rules the head, the brain, and is constantly asking us, where are we placing our thoughts? Chiron is the wounded healer, the sacred healer, asking us to look at how we are thinking of how we may be going into judgment about ourselves. And today with Venus going into retrograde, also Venus is all around love, our finances, and how we are viewing ourselves. Venus will stay in retrograde up until the 3rd of September, and then from the 3rd of September Jupiter goes into retrograde. So we've got a lot of retrogrades coming up. All planets will go into retrograde through this half of the year. Mars has already been in retrograde and is now moving quite fast. So Mars is helping us, giving us that motivation and that energy to work through any illusions that we may be facing. And with Venus going into retrograde, we can start to feel unhappy with ourselves. Things, whether it is personal, our love life, so things starting to come to the surface, and we're always reminded not to act on impulse during Venus retrograde. Things may start to come up about ourselves that we're not happy with, our self-image, feeling some self-worth issues coming to the surface. And if we try to correct these issues during a retrograde, we are placing an energy of not being happy with who we are, not being happy with our life. So we place that energy into whatever we may perceive that we need doing for our image or in our life. So when the planets are in retrograde, it's an optical illusion, and we start to see through illusion. So feelings, we've been doing a lot of emotional cleansing, and those emotions and the work that we have been doing starts to come out through the physical. So when we start to look at things that we don't like about ourselves or like about our life, we go into a place of looking outside of ourselves and comparing ourselves. Maybe we start to lose ourselves. We start to go in the illusion, get caught up in the illusion. So then when we start to feel not good enough, or that something needs changing, and we put energy into that, then we've hooked an energy, we've entangled ourselves into that feeling, and we will start to create even more things not to be happy about ourselves, or whatever it is in our lives, whether it's our finances, our career. So for this time, it's remembering that everything is an illusion and things are coming to the surface for us to sit with and breathe through, not to act upon, is what I'm being told. Don't make any hasty decisions during this time. Allow things to just work through us. Don't act on any triggers of our self-image if we're not feeling good, or we feel that we are not pretty enough, or our hair needs, whatever it may be. Don't act on those impulses, because the energy that we are feeling during this time will go into the procedure, and we may come out of the procedure and then start to notice something else that we're not happy with. So during this time, breathe through. Just know that everything is an illusion. We have the Grand Cross today also, which is bringing tension. So there's Neptune, Cancer, Pluto, so all water signs. The South Node in Libra and the North Node in Aries. So this is a Grand Cross, so can bring tension. Aries is our head, it's our mind. Where are we placing our attention? Chiron also, as I mentioned, in retrograde in Aries, in that first sign. Look at how we're thinking about ourselves. Look at how we're thinking about our life. Look at how we are thinking about our relationships, which is Libra, the South Nodes, that is going through the cleansing. So a day of real taking it easy on ourselves, and taking it easy on ourselves is not doing anything. It's not lying in bed or absolutely not doing anything. It's finding that peace within our mind, finding that calmness and stillness, instead of going into those lower vibrations of self-sabotage. So immense day today, powerful day, and you not to take anything personally how anybody else may be reacting in these energies. So I'm setting the intention for a reading for the highest and greatest good for the collective, or anyone who views this video. There we have the Knight of Swords. Things starting to shift, not letting our head run away with us. The Fool. And the Four of Wands. So the Knight of Swords brings in a change of thought. As soon as our thoughts start changing, our life changes, our outlook starts to change. We have brighter thoughts, we feel happier, and we create a brighter world around us. So things starting to shift now. Again, don't step into any impulsive decisions during this time. Think it through, have patience. Things are working out beautifully. Things coming up in this time of illusion, of the planets going in retrograde, especially the Venus, the divine feminine. She's going in and cleansing away everything that is not of love within her. Finding that love, feeling so grateful to be here at this time, not to go into conflict with ourselves, not to go into conflict with our divine feminine, of not feeling good enough, and going into past where people have treated us in ways that have created a feeling of worthlessness. Because everyone is in a pattern, and sometimes we get drawn into those patterns for the soul growth that we require at that time, to be able to see the patterns playing out and to get out of it and observe, not get drawn in. So the Knight of Swords is all around our thoughts, following our path, not listening to anyone else that's going to take us away from our own beliefs, staying true to ourselves, coming into that place of love, cleansing our minds today. And then we have the Fool, new path. We're going through this time of initiation, this grand cross, and the Neptune is in retrograde with Saturn, who is also in retrograde in Pisces, asking us to cut through that illusion. Neptune is the higher consciousness. It's our mystic within. It's our visions, but not get carried away in the illusion that if I change something within me, it's going to make my life better. So if I have some cosmetic surgery or whatever it may be, and there's nothing wrong with that, but during this time it's just to really make sure you're doing it from a place of not liking ourselves. It's not that it's something that is going to bring quality to our lives. We're not doing it because we don't like ourselves. So there's a very thin line here of really going into that understanding of ourselves and why we are doing certain things, whether it is to beautify ourselves, to actually change things in our finances, our careers, really just coming back and again, the message loud and clear, to not go into self-sabotage, because this energy will bring anything up that we're not happy with within ourselves and within our lives. So we're moving on onto this new path, the Fool. You can see there, she's about to fall off that cliff into that sea of consciousness, completely letting go and trusting and not going into self-sabotage, coming back, finding that place of expansion from where we are at this moment and breathing through those feelings that may be coming up now. And then we have the Four of Wands. So the Passion, the Four of Wands, and the Cardinal. This Cardinal cross is they're all in 29 degrees. So 2 and 9 is 11. So these are the gateways. This is what we want moving through to find that self-love. And as we find that self-love, we resonate on a frequency that draws people in who fully accept us and are on that same wavelength of non-judgment and appreciation and gratitude. And from going through this initiation that we're all going through, and the 11, powerful number, the gateway. And I also see the Four of Wands. You can see there in the background where the tent is, and those wands there, they're the doorway. So we're going through this doorway, and as I spoke yesterday about moving through that tunnel, moving into that cave, and we're moving and we're going deeper in and deeper in, finding disowned parts of us that we are no longer loving, and not to sabotage ourselves with them, not to try and change them. Acceptance acceptance, staying in that place of acceptance of everything that's within us and around us, and as we stay in that, we come through this time with complete joy. I love this card. The Four of Wands is one of my favourite cards, and today we may be pressured into thinking we're not good enough. People may act in a way that makes us feel unworthy and unappreciated, but when we come back in to our centre and know that God, the angels, our loved ones, see everything that we're doing and are praising us and cheering us forward, and to also remember everything that is within us is projecting outside of us, to become at one with ourselves, to become our own best friends. And then the base of the pack, we have the King of Wands. You can see there he has the wand, and it's the fire element, so it's the torch guiding him through. There's the lion there on the hilltop, so we're moving into the Lion's Gate, holding that light as we're moving through this initiation, as we're going deeper into that place of healing that is yet to be done on a deeper level. Then we have the Page of Wands. This is good news coming in, happiness coming in. When we take our attention away what needs fixing within, you know, superficially, and go within, all this good news starts to come. This beautiful energy of newness, and sometimes this can be a news of a birth, some good news coming in. And then the Ten of Wands, not to get burdened with this energy, because it can feel quite heavy. We can lose our motivation during this time, and it's to just sit and rest, find that peace of mind. If we're feeling something uncomfortable arising within us, to go and walk, use our adrenaline in a positive way, and so not to overburden ourselves with things that need changing. All change starts within. Not to take on too much, to start saying no, and that's okay to say no. And then the Six of Wands, again, this water, this fire element, with these cards of that are bringing the confirmation in that this is victory. This is raising our hands up in pure joy. So we're moving through this time, not to go in battle with ourselves or anyone out there, to be gentle with ourselves, realising that when the planets do go in retrograde, it's an optical illusion. We're not, it's where the Earth is placed at that time. No planet goes reverse. It's how we perceive it from Earth. So things being brought up, not going into our heads, not placing our heads in any area that causes unrest within us, that causes us to feel unhappy with ourselves. Take salt baths, Neptune, Cancer, Pluto, water element, to have salt baths, to walk in near an ocean or a lake. And we're having lots of rain here in the UK as well, lots of cleansing. And then the Magician, again, Mercury there in Leo, and this is a card connected, and Leo's full of passion, so helping us to revive our mojo on every level, knowing that as we come into that place of passion, of acceptance, of knowing that the energies are going to be bringing these up, and that's what it's for, not to project it out and create an entanglement with it, so that we're constantly going in that cycle of sabotage. So today is all about self, of how we perceive ourselves and how we perceive other people are perceiving us. It's an entangled web to really come home and find that inner stillness as much as we can. And the magician, we have all these wands. There are we are our own magical wand, whatever we focus on. And again, with Aries, Chiron in there, reminding us how we're thinking about ourselves, how we're thinking about our life, how we're looking at whatever needs doing, are we getting deflated with thoughts that are not kind and that are projecting out things that can become a burden upon us. There we go, those thoughts that I'll be happy if I had something nicer on. I would be happy if I had more finances, healthier finances. I'd be happier if I got this career. I'd be happier if, and we can go on, and that brings burden upon burden upon burden, because then we come out of ourselves and look at everything that is not how our head expects it to be, and to let go of that expectation, to come in and know everything is exactly, and we are exactly where we are required to be at this time. So I'm asking the Spirit of the Destiny for a reading, for some clarification for today, and these huge energies, for some guidance for the highest and greatest good, for the collective, for anyone who views this video. There we are, we're protected. Our soul knows the way. Our head will jumble. It will create all kinds of stories. Come back and feel that protection. Our soul is guiding us, and it's guiding us into a place of joy, of happiness, of love. And if we're in battle with ourselves, we are never going to allow anyone to love us and be at peace with us, because we're not happy within ourselves. So this protection there, our soul is guiding us. We are unique. There's no one else in the universe like us. So asking for, and then we have obstacles. The robber mouse. Our business. Our peace of mind. And the taking away. There's a shifting of all these lower thought forms, all this lower energy. We are cultivating and we are shifting it during this time, and there we have new beginnings, things starting to move. This is wishes being granted, happiness after sadness, and especially there with relationship to our divine feminine. So as we're moving through these shifts, and we're letting those old beliefs go. We're letting those thoughts that we're not good enough, that create experiences in our lives that confirm that, because we'll always choose people that can't see our worth. It's in us to do that, because that's what is a deep belief within us, when we realise that we are protected. we've got divine protection as we're moving and melting away these layers now that are creating those old patterns. We are melting them away, we're dissolving them. The robber mouse, look at where we are placing our head, our thoughts, and is it bringing us joy, or is it bringing us immense unrest and unease and sadness? Because that's a pattern within us, it's an energy within us that's playing out. Are we looking in the mirror and not liking ourselves and judging ourselves? Look at what is being invoked within us to dissolve those feelings, because we are here, we are a product of every thought that we've ever had. Everything is here in this moment in time. So if we're not liking the person in the mirror because they're not looking a certain way, then look deeper at the beautiful, beautiful soul that is within each of us. And when we smile and when we see and when we connect with our soul, it radiates through our face and brings grace through us. So if somebody has said things to us that create us to feel issues with our image, if someone said something that's been unkind, we will believe that, and that becomes part of what we subconsciously dislike about ourselves, and then we look for ways to improve that, to beautify it, when that's that person's perception of us, and to let that go, because we're exactly how we are meant to be, and we're here to love that person in the mirror, not in any vain way, but in a way that I will do everything I can in alignment to help anyone around me. I have to say no sometimes, because if there's an overwhelm of things getting too much, we have to say no for our own well-being, but to know that whoever stays is meant to stay, and cutting away now at those lower dense energies, those limiting beliefs we have about ourselves. This is what Venus is asking us. Look at the jewel that each feminine is, the divine feminine is. She brings through spirit, through a portal within her body, into this realm. When we look at our bodies, we've carried children, we've gone through lots of changes during our lives, whether we've had children or not. Our body is constantly changing. Every month there's a change. We have a release. So we're constantly changing, and to be at peace with that, and to know that when we are feeling tired, know that there's something changing within us, not to push through that. We have been taught to push through tiredness to the point where we become absolutely fatigued. When we start to find that inner peace, we go into that place of rest. And it's not to listen to that voice in our heads that tells us we're lazy. That's all conditioning. It's to come in and know that I feel exhausted. I'm giving myself a rest and saying no to any pressures that may be coming in. This brings new beginnings. Things starting to move now that have been stuck, that stuck energy that's kept us in that place of not liking ourselves and blaming ourselves and listening to other people's perceptions about us and taking it to heart to the point where we back ourselves in a corner. Time to move through that now. Wishes coming in, this cardinal cross, helping us to connect to our higher self, to let go of the nonsense that we keep telling ourselves. Happiness after sadness, beautiful relationships coming in now as we cultivate and we raise and we move up through the dimensions. We connect to the elementals, we can connect to the star beings of light, galactic mass, and as we move up we have a beautiful relationship with the spiritual, because the spiritual is love. The higher consciousness is the pureness of love, and to move up and evolve into that expansion, this a pureness of love within us for ourselves and for everyone in our lives. The divine feminine is going through some healing now to make peace with ourselves. And where work's concerned, the divine masculine, so Mars, is helping us to get motivated and move, shift those old thought forms into things that motivate us and bring in blessings where our finances are concerned. So there's some shifts going on to be at peace with ourselves. Every time we have a negative thought about ourselves, take a nice deep breath and look for something that we're grateful for. That breath I just took is a gift. That my body can move me from A to B with no resistance. Looking at the things that we take for granted, that when we start taking things for granted, they go, it leaves us. And then, so it's looking now at everything within our body, everything around us, even our finances. If we're going through any kind of difficulty, to examine what energy we're placing on finances, on our money. Look at the energy we're placing there, and if it is something that is creating we need more of, we'll always need more of it. We'll never be happy. When we're happy in this moment with everything that is within us and around us, and I just see as we're moving and making this initiation through the energies, through these frequencies, as we are moving through and staying focused, and the protection of our vision, not letting it be contaminated by any fears. Moving forward, we bring back every essence of our soul that's been trapped in relationships, situations that we felt unloved, that we may have passed in a place of feeling unloved, a place of anxiety. We're bringing all that back now with the wisdom and the knowledge that we are everlasting and will move through these lifetimes. Keep hold of the wisdom. And if we're holding on to any kind of finances or unhappiness with ourselves from past lifetimes, we will block ourselves from abundance coming in to our lives in this lifetime. So immense energies, and I'm really getting hot as I'm doing this reading. So sending so much love and healing to anyone who's going through anything that I've discussed. Know that when we sit with it and we find some peace there, we are not going back into those old cycles of self-sabotage. So the Magician is stepping forward, Archangel Raziel is stepping forward, the planet of communication. Mercury is there in Leo. Talk about things that uplift you, find some humour, watch something that makes you giggle on TV, not anything that's going to take you into some kind of low mood. Lots of healing. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and sending love and healing to anyone who may be going through any kind of issues, that whether it's physical, mental, emotional, to really allow or to be at peace with everything. And when we're at peace within, we create peace all around us. So have a wonderful, wonderful day, and thank you so much for listening. God bless. Thank you.